Well, good afternoon, and thank you very much for coming on short notice. The events of the last week have demonstrated quite clearly that there are ongoing misrepresentations and questions surrounding the start of the school year, but more about the proposed Putting Students First Act brought forward by the government during yesterday's session. Catholic school boards and trustees across Ontario recognize the fiscal realities of the province, and we dedicated ourselves to working with our union partners at the outset of the provincial discussion table process as far back as February. For many months, the OCSTA team and the OECTA team met and discussed issues of importance in our sector, and we did so both respectfully and amicably. The parameters of that process were clear. Boards spoke in their legal role as employers, OECTA spoke in its legal role as employees, and the ministry was present to facilitate discussions. Regrettably, the OCSTA and OECTA teams were unable to reach agreements on vital issues, and as such, our team exercised its legal right to withdraw from negotiations. Our intention was not to negatively impact education or in any way threaten the first day of school. Rather, our goal was to follow the legally prescribed steps in the Education Act and the Labor Relations Act that would allow for our local boards to begin collective bargaining with local union representatives. However, for no reason other than desperation, the Minister of Education unilaterally usurped the rights of every district school board in the province of Ontario by signing an agreement with an employee group when she had no legal right to do so. The Memorandum of Understanding Agreement was signed on July 5th between OECTA and the Minister of Education, not one of the 29 school boards that employ OECTA's members. Since that time, Ontarians have been inundated with misrepresentations and falsehoods about why our boards withdrew from the process and that there was some intention on our part to disrupt labor peace. We have also witnessed ongoing stories about strikes, lockouts, and tension where, frankly, there is none. The sole source of labor dissatisfaction in the education sector today is the Ministry of Education. To date, 4 of 72 school boards in the province of Ontario have exercised their right to sign the OECTA MOU agreement. We have been steadfast in promoting the rights of local boards to determine their own fate, and those 4 boards signed an agreement they felt was best for their board. We have been, and always will be, dedicated to promoting the legal rights, responsibilities, and roles of district school boards, especially when it comes to collective bargaining. Under the Putting Students First Act, the government very clearly intends to not only infringe upon local democracy by subverting the role of trustees in Ontario, but they come nowhere near putting students first. Rather, they put the Ontario budget first and their electoral campaigns in Waterloo and Vaughan well above anything else. We were very encouraged when Mr. Hudak and the PC caucus put forward suggested changes to the Act that would remove the non-fiscal elements of the legislation, namely hiring and assessment. We feel that all students in Ontario should be able to receive an education from the most qualified teachers and benefit from the insight gained from the use of system-wide diagnostic tests. Further, we feel strongly that the parents of Ontario expect school boards to protect the quality of education in the classroom and the future of the education system by making decisions that are not driven by political expediency, but are focused squarely on what is in the best interest of students and teachers in the classroom. As such, we were optimistic yesterday when changes to the Act requested by the official opposition had been heard. We were most pleased to learn the provisions that placed restrictions on the system-wide use of diagnostic assessment data and the introduction of seniority rather than qualification or experience as the key determining factor in the hiring of teachers were to be removed. You will also recall that the province's student trustees came out yesterday and rightfully expressed frustration with these provisions. Osta ACO indicated support for an amended bill, and it did so on the understanding that the objectionable provisions would be removed once and for all. Today, we were astounded to learn that the revised legislation has not removed Section 19, subsection 1E. That provision is in place, but will now only be imposed upon the Catholic and French systems, while the English public system will be exempt. In this light, we call upon the government to amend the legislation and achieve the concession that the official opposition initially demanded. This is nothing but an end around by the minister to subvert what the PC leader has asked for. As such, we also call upon the official opposition to hold the government to account for the concessions that they agreed to. As the proposed legislation stands, the effect of these changes is in fact no change at all. Our model for the delivery of education in Ontario has served us well and has positioned us among the most respected and successful school systems in the world. Initiatives that would weaken a board's ability to deliver responsible oversight and that would prevent boards from living up to their mandate under the Education Act are very concerning. We urge the government to please reconsider the initial changes suggested by the opposition and to live up to its word. Thank you, and I will happily take any questions.